Hello everyone and welcome to the extra content for April 2020. This is the deep diver lesson for patrons who are at the $10 membership tier or higher. Thank you so much for your support. What we like to do with these lessons, if you're new, is to go deeply into just one subject. So for this month of April, we're going to be diving deeply into the chord solo for Amazing Grace. I have a whole lot of great stuff I can't wait to share with you in this video, so let's jump right in. Before we do, just a couple of quick things. First of all, make sure that you print up or click to open up the PDF that's at the bottom of this post. Scroll down to the bottom, you'll see some red lettering there. Tap or click on that to open it up and you can follow along. I recommend that you print it up so you can make notes, okay? I'm going to be sharing a lot of extra stuff that is not on that printed page, so it's a good idea to have some scrap paper or journal and a pen and paper so you can make some notes, draw some fretboard diagrams, make a visual reference so you can really absorb what I'm going to be sharing with you, okay? Lastly, I hope that you are getting a lot out of your membership here. Make sure that you visit the Posts tab. Click the Posts tab here at the Patreon page, and you'll see there's different ways to search through the posts through the search engine that's there. There is an frequently asked question post, so click that, open up, and read that because it'll really will answer a lot of questions about how to get the most out of this page, namely how to search for different lessons, topics, etc., etc. Okay. What I'm going to do now is break down this chord solo using the high G ukulele that I played in the Amazing Grace sing-along video. And I'm just going to go through these in an informal way. What I did was I charted out two beginning chord solos. Now, I call them beginner, but they're really not super easy. They're easier, perhaps. But what they are is a skeleton that we will later flesh out with just some simple variations, okay? So you'll want to take notes as I go through this. Of course, as we do this, I'm going to be sharing with you all the technical tips of how to make it easier on your fretting hand and your picking hand. Most of our picking will be done with our thumb. I'm using a high G. You can use whatever ukulele you want. So if you're ready, let's begin. Come back to this video anytime. I'm going to be sharing a lot of things. Let's begin by just me playing. Join in if you'd like, of course. I'm going to be demonstrating version 1, the beginner, and I'm going to play it pretty much exactly as written so you can see what I'm doing, hear what I'm doing, and then we'll talk about it and then flesh it out. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Notice how I'm counting. 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, putting a little simple variations, just picking around, changing rhythms. Oops. Okay, so yes, I hit an unintentional. When that happens, make sure you smile. So when we are playing, what we're doing is we are essentially fleshing out the chord structure with a melody. That's what chord melody is. Here's the melody. Amazing grace. So the very first phrase. I have suggested left-hand fingerings in between the tablature and the standard notation. Please feel free to use those or create your own. This is a good idea to start on your second finger. It just makes that transition easier. Okay, then I'm using the ring finger. I know that's quite a stretch, but look. It makes finding the C7 shape a lot easier. So let's just slow down just for a moment. Amazing grace. I played a C7. Now you may be scratching your head. You might be saying, Stu, that doesn't look like a C7. That's a C7. Yes, it is. But what we have here is a different voicing. Different voicing is C7. We're taking this G7 shape and moving it up the neck, and it becomes C7 in this position. That's the 7th, 6th, and 7th, okay? Next, you play the note D. If you play it with the ring finger, it makes this transition to the F chord a lot easier. You see how my ring finger just slides down. And this is a chord that's a good idea to get friendly with. It's your F major and adding the C note on top. You will come across this quite a lot when you're chord soloing. You can use the ring finger or the pinky. And I've offered different fingerings depending on what you're comfortable with. So again, that first phrase. Join in with me, please. Amen. Here comes that G7 shape. F with the C. Open. Yep, and then we're back to this. It's called a C. It's really a C5 chord, but who's counting? Call it a C. Now, we move to the next phrase. Same note choices, but this time, move to the 7th fret with the first finger, and that will set up this A minor chord. Okay, so what I'm trying to help you with primarily in the technical way is what finger choice will make it easier. And you can see if you follow along with the tablature that there is a fingering for this A minor 7. Those fingerings are the different fonted numbers in between the frets, the tablature and the standard notation. And then the first finger moves down there to the 5th fret, and then we play a quasi-bar chord. It's open, barring at the 7th, 7, and 10th fret. So let's just take that second phrase, okay? That saved a soul like me. That saved a first finger. And try to land the chord there. We're going to talk about some options in a moment. Let's talk about them right now. You notice how I'm landing the chord at the same time that the melody note arrives. Amazing grace. That can cause a traffic jam in the hands sometimes when you're first starting out. So it's a good idea to just get the melody note. And then you could drag the thumb together a beat or a half a beat later to fill it out. This is a fine and beautiful thing to do. It's a wonderful string texture. It's difficult to notate, so that's why that is what's notated, right? Right on beat 1, the whole chord arrives. Here it comes again. Whole chord arrives. Whole chord. But you could play it like this. Get the melody note and then fill in. You see what I'm saying? So you have some freedom. You always do. Freedom to change the arrangement. It's not set in stone. If you like the sound of the chord arriving on beat 1, here is the practice technique. Just with the left hand, move the shapes around. Amazing sing grace. So what is going on here is that I'm practicing just the gesture of the left hand, and you want to really slow it down, okay? Because there's quite a lot going on here. To stretch and then have all these fingers land together. The ring finger is floating above the fret 7 where it's about to land. I let go. My hand is so soft that if I took my uke away, that's how loose it is. So there's 2 things happening already. Floating over the 7th fret, hand is soft, and then watch how slowly, this is the key, slowly I move to that same shape, that next shape. And then I land. Now, when you practice long enough, it just shows up. Why does it show up like that for me? Because for many years, and I still to this day practice this way, I'll just go that slowly. I mean, it only takes another 5 to 30 seconds to slow it down. What you will gain in those 30 seconds is actually saving you time. So just get the left hand gestures together. This goes for all the transitions. Just let go and practice the left hand landing at the same time. Okay? This is helpful for whether you're going to have the chord land like this, or it's going to be a little delayed. A little delayed meaning that I get the melody note there and then I fill in the chord. Okay, you follow me with that, yeah? Let me know in a comment below if you have any questions. So, all right, we only played the first line. Let's move through the rest of it, okay? We get to that high G chord at the end of the first line. I'm placing the middle finger right there in the 8th fret to create a suspension. Okay, beautiful sound. Then that's a big change, right? I'm going all the way up here and I slide down to the 3rd fret, my ring finger. How do I make sure that my ring finger is going to get there? Is that when I'm sliding, I'm not looking here, I'm already here. And it's a hard thing to put into words. I'm already inside my 3rd finger. So as I'm getting ready, I'm already there. I'm inside that finger. I can feel where it's going to go before it gets there. You may say, well, that's very poetic. Thank you. How do I do that? It's always about going slowly. That's how slowly I learned it. If you do it just 3 to 5 times in a row, that slowly, watch how much more internalized the motion becomes. It really goes deeply into your mind-body connection. Pretty soon, I fast forwarded there through several repetitions, but it just will show up. The thing is that you have to go slow. You got to be willing to go slow as a turtle. Trust me, you'll save yourself time. All right? Next, there's that F gesture again. You could use the pinky like I wrote, and that leaves the ring finger free for the C. That's just a little Mozartian kind of thing. And now here comes my favorite chord, one of my favorite chords, G13. So let's break that down. Was blind. Here we go, 7-3 with a ring finger, 1st finger, and now my ring finger and my pinky are floating above the 7th fret. That's it. Open, 5, 7, 7. But the middle finger should stay loose, because in another moment, you're going to want to play that. So this 13th chord is really a G7. I know it doesn't look like this G7. It's fingered differently. 5, 5, ring finger goes to 7. And then my pinky is on the 7th fret, this high E note. And then to C. And then I put a little suspension. Okay, let's play the whole thing together and then we'll go into the second rendition. Little variations you can begin to begin to add to it right away are drag the thumb through. Remember we talked about that just a moment ago. All right, now what did I do there? Another variation. You don't have to obey what I wrote on the page, you know. It's always implied the freedom to interpret things. Okay, so that's another different thing you can put on there over the F chord. Same idea of getting there with the melody note, then filling it in. Here's another thing I like to do. Okay, you heard this many times in different blues and bluegrass. I'm approaching the 5 of the scale, the 5th note of the scale, the G, and I'm approaching it from a chromatic, 1 fret at a time approach. So let's back up so you understand where I am. I'm 3 bars before the end of the first line. Strum the C chord, A minor 7. Now instead of playing 5, 10, I'm going to play 1 finger at a time. And I'm adding a little strumming idea to this suspended G chord. Okay. A suspension means that the 3rd note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 3rd note has been replaced by the 4th note. That would be a suspended 4th. Okay. We don't want to go too far into the music theory rabbit hole. It's a fun rabbit hole to explore, believe me. Better to just simplify things, I think. G with the finger. And if you know that it's a suspension, groovy. You gotta know that I've studied my music theory to death. I know it very well. So much so that it doesn't matter. It's kind of like when we go around and we have a conversation with a friend, we're not meeting them with a dictionary and a thesaurus, so you're just expressing yourself. The dictionary and the thesaurus in music would be music theory. It's a wonderful thing to understand. It definitely unlocks a lot of possibilities, and I will teach it to you, especially in future online courses. But for now, simplify it. Okay? Just get into the music. Okay, so no diss on music theory, trust me. So let's play through this one last time. I'm going to add some variations. Please copy them, steal them, use them, and then we'll go through the version 2, the quote advanced beginner. Are you ready? From the beginning, let's play. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. beginning to add little bits of strumming in there. So the strum I'm adding is on beat 2. And that brings us to the advanced beginner, because we're going to take that same concept and play on beat 2. Let's go to the third line down, one measure before version 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here's beat 2. Excuse me, there's something funny on my screen. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Advanced beginner. Open string. Open string. Triplet, little ending, okay, so there are more chords, there's more color tones in this arrangement. Let's play from the beginning. This is the beginning of the advanced beginner. Next, we play this, but we strum. And we're going to that same C7 shape. Open string. Now we're going to play a chord C9. There's two ways to play this. You can bar and drop the middle finger and the ring finger in. So I'm barred at the 3rd fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret. That's the 5th fret. Another way to play this, and it's what I have notated, is to use fingers 1, 3, 2, and 4. Now this may look very complex at first, but let me simplify it for you. This is the same as a G major shape, but I'm lifting it up, moving it up a whole set of strings, and then up a fret. Okay, so can you see how that same triangular G major shape has been moved? Then moved up, then I drop my pinky right there. So it's a very light touch too. Very beautiful chord. You'll find this in a lot of jazz. All right, so right there, C9. Now the pinky moves down and we play a D minor 7. Okay, this is your D minor chord with the pinky added at the 3rd fret. Next we play this chord. Open, 2, 1, open. That's a G9 chord. And then from there to that C major or C5 chord. So that's a whole lot of things I just shared with you. Let's break it down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Do you see how my thumb is picking on beat 2? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And it's always picking that G string. Right? Next shape. A minor 7. And yes, I was playing D minor 7 like this, a little different fingering, but you could always use this. A minor 7. It's the 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. Now we move up here to this old A minor 7. It's old, it's familiar because it's what we played in the first arrangement. Notice how the first finger leads up to the 7th fret. These are different chord inversions, different orderings of the open strings. Okay, so this is an A minor 7. All the open strings. It's called C6, but it's also A minor 7. 2 chords in one. Next voicing. Next voicing. So there's 3 voicings that we know now. All the same notes. G, C, E, A is G, E, A, C. G, A, C, E. So the same notes, they're just voiced differently, okay? They're ordered differently, they're arranged differently. So we went on a little bit of a journey there, just get to know one chord. Notice how my index finger plays and leads. Next part. Okay, so I'm playing 2 notes here. I'm using the ring and the pinky because the pinky will slide up to the 10th fret, play that G, and then there's this scale run, 4 notes. Alright, so that's just the notes of the G major scale. G, A, B, C, G. Okay. Now as you move from this chord, you can eventually learn to play that without lifting up the bar. One more time. Okay. Next, we come into something a little challenging. Harmony notes. 2 notes here. Middle finger first. First finger leads up to the 10th fret. See? That index finger is sliding along that string. Okay? It lifts up pressure, doesn't drag with force. It's gliding lightly. Now we're going to go right back down. Once again, different orderings, different inversions of that same C chord. Just like we had the different voicings of the A minor 7 chord, we have these different voicings of every chord. Here's C. Now I'm going to play this note B flat. And then there's that G major shape. Remember we were doing that a moment ago when we played the G9, the C9. Okay, but here we're just playing those 3 notes because we want the melody note to be this note. What now I am found. Okay, is this coming along okay? A lot of different information, I know. Let's take it from the beginning of the advanced beginner version, and we'll round up. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. wanted to add that little ending for you. And what the pattern is notated is a strum, a pick, strum. Then you go to F, strum, pick, strum. Then F minor, strum, pick, strum, and then C. Once you're comfortable with this, you could begin to add a finger picking texture. There's no end to the variations you can create. So those are just different right hand techniques. Strum, pick, strum, strum, pick, strum, strum, pick, strum, strum. Once you're comfortable with that, try this one out. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So it creates a wheel going from the thumb up to the ring finger, back down. So a lot of details about fingerstyle. We're already at a half an hour. Let's keep it light. Move through the fingers. Move the fingers through the strings. Don't get stuck on the strings. Just move through the fingertip. You don't need to have fingernails to finger pick well. Just play at the very tip of the finger and don't let the string get caught on the tip of the finger. See how it follows through. I'm not pulling up at the string, doing that. I'm just moving through. It's as if I'm just playing the air and there just happens to be a string there. So this is a wonderful little practice to get an arpeggio pattern, a finger picking pattern going, and then change chords. Let's do it again. C. All right, so just sharing that as a way to expand upon those last 4 bars, the little coda, the ending that I put there. So there's a lot to cover in this solo. I hope that you'll watch this video, take apart the details of what I was showing you. When you approach a new chord, the last thing I'll share with you is that it's a good idea to just practice the left hand only, touch the shape, see if you can touch it in a way where before you even make any sound, your hand feels relaxed. As if you took the ukulele away, your hand will just be very, very floppy, very floating. Once you have that position, of course, we have to add a little bit of pressure, okay? But it comes from a relaxed hand. There is space, okay? My palm is not doing that. It's not touching the back of the instrument. There is space, okay? So I can stick this pen right through my hand right there. It takes a little while to cultivate that. That's probably the hardest part about playing solos like this, is the technical hurdle of just finding the chord. So I recommend that you just float the hand up, find the chord, play it once, then relax. You just did it correctly. Do it again. You just did it twice. One last time. Float the hand up. Now you can move on. If you practice patiently like this, you really will make progress. So don't listen to the mind if it's telling you you're wasting time or you'll never get this. You know that you're chipping away at it little bit by little bit, flowing like water. Okay? And we all know that water wears down the rock. So be like the water, practice slowly and patiently. You will learn this, okay? Just take some time to make friends with each individual shape. I hope that you found this video helpful and enjoyable. Let me know in a comment section below. Really, really appreciate your support here on Ukulele Zen. Hey, I've already gone 35 minutes. What's another few? Let's just play. 1, 2, 3. We'll play the whole thing. 2, 3. So you just play, enjoy, allow it to come out in the way that it wants to come out. It's of course very helpful at first to stick with the structure that's been outlined, but please make variations on it. Thank you so much for hanging. Wishing you and your family and loved ones well. Look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Thanks again and take good care.